Hi, I am Pushkar. So, in the previous videos, we learned about what is blockchain, how blockchain operates, and what are smart contracts. So, one thing that we found out that blockchain operates with a decentralized peer-to-peer network model since there is not a single node and nodes does not have to trust each other. So, blockchain has to ensure appropriate safeguard for transacting information or unsecured channel while maintaining transactional integrity. Therefore, cryptography becomes an essential requirement for blockchain to safeguard user transaction information or privacy alongside ensuring there is a data consistency as well. So in this video, we'll discuss about what is cryptography, the importance of cryptography, and why blockchain uses cryptography. So what exactly is cryptography? Now, cryptography in blockchain or in general is a very tricky concept. Now, generally, cryptography means the art of writing and solving codes. It is a method of developing such techniques and protocols which prevents third party from accessing and gaining knowledge of the data from private messages, say during peer-to-peer communication. In short, cryptography is a method of storing and transmitting data in a particular form so that only for those who it is intended to can read and process it. Hence, it can also be used for various processes, say authentication. Well, before we understand what are the various different type of cryptography and cryptographic techniques are, it's important to understand what are the various terminologies that are used in the process of cryptography. Now, there are quite a few terms, but most commons are say encryption, decryption, cipher, and keys. Now, encryption is a method by which information in plain text are converted into ciphertext. Ciphertexts are usually referred to as secret codes in order to hide its true meaning. Decryption, on the other hand, is basically opposite of what encryption does. It is a process of converting encrypted data back to its original form. Cipher is a process or an algorithm that is basically performed in order to achieve encryption and decryption. Now, these algorithms define series of steps that has to be followed in sequence. Another very important term in cryptography is keys, and it has very significant importance. Now, keys in cryptography contain certain information used to encrypt and decrypt an information. Based on encryption type, either a single secret key is used in order to encrypt and decrypt an information, or say a public-private key would be used. Now, in case of a public key is typically used to encrypt the information, and private key are used to decrypt the information. Now, let's understand what are the various different types of cryptography. Usually, there are three different types of cryptographic techniques. The first one is a symmetric key cryptographic. Now, this type of cryptography is also known as secret key cryptography. Now, in this method, a single key is used for both encryption and decryption. Now, one of the problem of this type of cryptography is transferring the key securely in between the senders and the receivers. The second type of cryptography is the asymmetric key cryptography. Now, these are also known as public key cryptography. This method consists of pair of keys, an encryption key and a decryption key, which is also known as a public-private key. Now, typically, public key is used in order to encrypt an information, and private key is used in order to decrypt an information. However, the most important cryptographic and the most powerful of them all is the hash functions. Now, hash functions generates unique identifier for any given set of inputs. Basically, it is a process that takes the plain text data of any size and say convert it into a unique ciphertext of a specific length. Hence, no two piece of a content will have the same hash digest. And in case if the two content, or if in case if any of the input within that content changes slightly, the hash digest changes as well. Hence, it's the most important and the significant cryptographic technique that blockchain follows. So, how does hashing works? Now, hashing an input or a message means we take string of data of any size as our input, which is say a plain text message in our case, and run it through an algorithm that generates an output of fixed length. Now, suppose in case if the input data is large, it is broken into smaller blocks of equal size. For example, data block 1 to data block 5. However, if the input data block is small, then padding of ones and zeros can be used in order to fill it out. These blocks are further run through several mathematical hash functions, which results in the generation of an output of a fixed length, which we call as a hash value. So what are the various hashing algorithms that are currently being used? Now there are a lot of different type of hashing algorithm, but two of the most common hashing algorithm are the secure hash algorithm SHA and the MD, which is the message digest. Uh, Till very recently, MD5 and MD6 used to be a default hashing algorithms. However, now they are considered to be broken. Currently, the most popular and commonly used hashing algorithm is the SHA-256 of the SHA-2 family. Uh, Now, based on our discussion, doesn't hashing and encryption looks the same? But they aren't. Now, if someone talks about decrypting the hash value, then they don't know what they are talking about. Now, hash function is a one-way function, whereas encryption is a two-way function. That is, in hash functions, we can convert an input into a readable string of digits, but not the other way around. Whereas in encryption, one can decrypt the output by the person who has the key. So why blockchain uses cryptography? Now, cryptographic algorithms such as hash functions provides blockchain with key intrinsic behaviors such as they are deterministic in nature. Now, a strong cryptographic algorithm such as hash functions results in a fixed output even though a slight change in an input. The second one is their collision resistance. Now, with strong hashing algorithms such as SHA-256 or SHA-512, it's almost impossible to find the same hash for the same enciphered text. The third is the avalanche effect, and this is the most important reason for blockchain to use cryptography. That is, a slight change in the input results in completely different output. That is, a change in just one bit of the input results in change to the half the bits of its hash. The fourth one is the irreversibility. Now, with a strong cryptographic algorithm such as hash function, reverse engineering is not possible. That is, we cannot generate the input by having the output in the hash function. Now that we have gone through the blockchain, its underlying concepts, how blockchain operates, what are smart contracts and how smart contract works, and the importance of cryptography in blockchain, now it's time to get started by interacting with the blockchain world. And the gateway to that is Web3. So in the next video, we'll discuss what is